Pop quiz. Can you clearly outline your social media strategy and clearly explain how it furthers your business or organizational goals? If not, social media is likely costing you rather than serving you. What's up? I'm Zach. Welcome to the Mission Driven Impact YouTube channel, where we help nonprofits and social entrepreneurs raise awareness for their organization by clarifying their message, getting the word out, and building a loyal community of fans and supporters. Now, today I want to be talking about where social media fits in to your marketing strategy. So if you are struggling to have a marketing strategy in the first place, this is going to be a great video for you. Or if everything just kind of seems random, right? If there are all these moving pieces and you're not sure how they should be working together, if you are invested in social media, but you're really not seeing any sort of results or engagement, this is going to be a video you want to watch. We're about to get into it with the whiteboard, but while I get it out, like and subscribe to this channel. We've got a handful of videos in the next few weeks about how to use social media for your social impact organization. I want to make sure that you don't miss out. Like and subscribe. The foundation of every ounce of your marketing and basically your whole business is your message or your brand messaging, right? And it has to do with a lot more than just branding. It's all about what story are you telling? Who are you serving? What problem are you overcoming, or are you helping them overcome? What is your solution or your plan to get them that transformation, that A to B that they're looking for? What does the happy ending look like? This is all stuff that we covered in our Story Brand series. I'll leave a link to the playlist in one of the corners up here. But you gotta know your message, because you're gonna be directing people to a website that doesn't clearly explain what you do. You're gonna be pushing out content that isn't compelling, that doesn't, invite someone into a story where they can be the hero. Everything rests on your messaging, so you got to get that clear, and social media doesn't have to do with that message. The next step up on our marketing pyramid is content. And not trying to shout, I just had some extra space there. And so I teach I call it a content-centric system. Sits in the middle of the pyramid. Remember, everything rests on our message, but so you can think about our messages. How are we discovering our story? Like, what is our story? What story do we have to tell? Content is the way that we tell it. It's the way that we deliver that message in a way that gets people to lean in to listen. That gets people to say, oh, that sounds interesting. Tell me more. To get people to say, oh, that's something I want to be a part of. That's something I can believe in. That teaches people something, that adds value to people. I mean, I could go on and on. The list goes on and on, let's say. It could be your lead magnet, PDF, right? An email course that you offer. It could be blogs, podcast episodes, YouTube videos. Any kind of asset that you create that educates your customer, your client, that pulls them deeper into a relationship with you, that moves that relationship forward, that is going to be the middle of the pyramid. Notice that social media isn't content. Can you share content on social media? Yes, of course. We're going to talk about that in a second. But what is actually going on here is that we are adding value to our customers in some way with some kind of content. So the final step is reach. It's the top of our pyramid. That's what people are seeing, right? If you're looking at a pyramid from far away, that's what you're seeing is the reach. Now, reach can mean some specific things in the marketing world. Don't read too much into it. I just mean, how are we amplifying the rest of what we're doing here? How are we promoting our content assets? So you can think about message or your brand messaging, your content, and your reach like this. What is the story that we're telling? What story are we inviting people into, right? We think about our offer resides here. What is our offer? What is our USP? Who is our ideal client? All that stuff is going down into message. Then we are telling that story with our content. So what's our story? How are we telling it? Physically, tangibly, what are we using? What devices are we using to tell our story? And then reach is, how are we getting that story in front of people? So this is where social media belongs, right? Regardless of its any sort of feature in a platform, any platform itself, whether it's paid advertising, especially Facebook ads, but also Google ads, a television commercial, I would say also fits up here. Although, do people do those anymore? SEO, search engine optimization, the stuff that you can do on the front end and the back end to make sure that Google picks up your articles, especially if you're a blog writer. So SEO is a form of reach. I would also say debatably PR and press is a form of reach, and arguably email as well. Sits somewhere in the middle here. Don't believe what people tell you that like there's only one way to do email. Email can serve a lot of different purposes for a lot of different people. So I'd say depending on what your goals are, depending on how your business or organization functions, email is going to sit somewhere in here. It can, email can be content itself, but it can also be a way of furthering your reach. So what story are we telling? What are we actually using to tell that story? And then how do we get that story in front of enough of the right people? So why do I make such a big deal about making sure that all of these, categories are like clearly defined when it seems like a lot of what we do in marketing, frankly, isn't clearly defined? A lot of these lines are kind of blurred or run together. Does it really make a difference the way we think about it? And of course, I think yes, absolutely. And I saw this so much when I was working full-time as a freelance copywriter. People would come to me and they'd say, oh, we need SEO. We need search engine optimization. We need to be found on Google. Or you see this all the time when people are like, oh, we need Facebook ads. We need to grow our social media, whatever that means to business. People usually, when people say that, they don't really have a good idea what that means. I think that the subscriber count, follower count, those are vanity metrics that don't always, in fact, oftentimes they don't translate into real business goals. So the order is really paramount. You can't direct people to a website where you're not telling a clear story, right? You can't write a blog post or record a podcast episode that isn't fueled by the empathy and authority that you're giving off from knowing the problem that you solve, knowing what the happy ending looks like, knowing what difference you're making, etc. And so the order is paramount. You got to know how to tell your story, and then you got to know what you're actually using to tell that story. And you're not using social media, right? Some businesses try, and that's very dangerous. Algorithms change, etc. I think you've heard my spiel before. So that's not the actual core or middle of the pyramid of what's going on. I don't know why I keep trying to say period. So you got to have social media in its proper place. You got to have SEO in its proper place. You got to have ads in its proper place. And chances are, if you've been thinking, oh, we need ads, we need SEO, maybe you should be doing a little bit more work first on the story you're telling and the devices that you're using to tell that story. Something to consider, because more times than not, when people come to me, they don't have an ad problem, they don't have a reach problem. What they have is an offer problem or a story problem or some sort of content problem first. I know that this is a lot to cover. I could keep going, but I'm going to hold off there. If you have any questions, if something is not clicking, not making sense, any ideas or anything comes up with you, leave your thoughts down in the comments. I really want to hear from you. I really want to have these conversations with you. I'm here to serve. If there's anything else I can do to serve, connect with me on LinkedIn. That's a great way to get a hold of me. And listen, if you're ready to take that next step, if you are just having trouble connecting your marketing to your business goals, whether that involves social media or not, getting eyeballs on your business, getting people through the door, attracting enough people or the right people or both, I'm going to leave a link down in the description to my 12-week coaching program. In 12 weeks, we go from, I always say, from wherever you're starting to wherever you need to go. But really, it's from, if you don't even know what marketing is, if you're really starting out or you just haven't been seeing the results you need from your marketing efforts, whatever they are, and you need to get going. In 12 weeks, we're going to set up everything you need to have a fully scalable, repeatable, low-cost, low-hassle, content-focused marketing system that works while you sleep. Book a call with me. It's free. If you're a great fit, I'm going to tell you about it. And if not, I'm not going to try to sell you anything. I'm going to tell you where you can go to move your business forward if I know the answer for that. Book a call with me. I'll see you in the next one.